Hey everyone, it's Evangelia and welcome back to the channel. So as promised by last week's video, I am now going to be explaining to you my story with puppetry and how I auditioned and everything. Okay, so let me begin. Okay, so the whole story probably starts in January when I went to Berlin for a few days to audition for an acting school. One of the administrators beforehand told me that I should maybe look into puppetry. I laughed and I was like, okay, I've never heard of that before. I'll first go to Paris. I got here, I started to settle in, and then I thought, you know what, why not? Puppetry, the course is very similar to acting, and I thought, okay, let's give it a go. First round of auditions was horrible. I had no idea what puppetry was, and my super internet skills, I didn't Google or YouTube a lot, and so I arrived there with 2 pieces of tissues and tried to create some lucid dream with 2 tissues. It was horrible, but in the end they got me to do an improvisation piece, and that got me into the final round. Now the final round was something that I took very seriously, and so this is where my story starts. Okay, so long story short, I did a lot of preparation, like a lot. And that puppetry was never my career choice, but I said, hey, if I do this wholeheartedly. Went in, did some YouTube research, especially into one guy whose name I have forgotten. I'll edit that in.
Neville Tranter is the name I'm looking for.
And I created a doll. I created actually 2 dolls, but my second doll I put a lot of work in. It was a whole story of getting a balloon, paper mache, forming it, painting it, paper mache again. It was a crazy journey, and in the end I actually had this face, and then I had to get a wig from London, then clothes from here, from Germany. Yeah, it was a lot of work for this whole puppetry piece. Then the whole story gets worse. It's the day before the audition, and I booked my ticket to Berlin well in advance. I think as soon as I found out about that I got through, I booked my ticket, cancelled my trip to Copenhagen, and started being in super contact with the administrator to organize that I'd do everything. I got a doctor's certificate for 60 euros, all these things. Then it's time to leave. I've packed everything. I'm on the bus at the train station, planned it so I'm half an hour early at the bus station, get on the train, and it's late. Half an hour late. And the half an hour that I needed to be at the bus stop, I literally run across Paris as soon as I get off that stupid train to get me from Saint-Germain-en-Laye, which is a little bit outside of Paris, into Bercy. I take this route, like every weekend I take a bus to the bus station in Bercy, and literally I was half an hour late. My bus went a few seconds before I arrived, and they wouldn't stop it. And then, yeah, I had a mental breakdown in the middle of a bus station. Like, I'd never had a mental breakdown before, but I don't know if you can, if you imagine, you have worked weeks on something, everything's planned like to the point. Like, I planned it so I would be 3 hours early in Berlin, so I'd be in all calmness, I would go to the puppetry school. And now suddenly the one thing that has to get you from point A to B is no longer working. Okay, please don't judge me for my crying face, I know it's gross. Okay, I just had a major meltdown, and hopefully I missed my bus by 1 minute because the train was half an hour late, and then hopefully I can get now a bus. Anyway, in the end, I call my parents. It's 3 a.m. in the morning in Australia, and they're angels. They literally calm me down. Yeah. My dad writes an email for the lady. My mum starts organizing how I can get there. We pay for new tickets and everything, and then I'm finally, 2 hours later, I'm on a bus in a different direction, but to Germany. I arrive in Münster in the morning at like 4:30, get to the train station, buy a train ticket to Berlin, and I arrive at 11:05. 11 was the time that the audition started. They asked us to be 15 minutes early. I get an email back from the administrator and she says, all good, you can come late. I get there, 25 past. If I'd come 5 minutes after when I arrived, I wouldn't have been able to do the audition. Turns out the jury of the audition did not understand that I could miss a bus, or that if I really thought this audition was as important as they wanted to be, how I could miss something like that. And yes, I get it, but I had to work. So I did not go to Berlin the day earlier because I had work, but nonetheless, I went into the audition and I was like, hi, I'm the girl from Paris. This lady just looks at me straight in the face and she says, okay, like, just start the audition. And she's like, next time, like, time management or something like that. And the audition goes well, like, compared to the other students. Yeah, there's some really cool ones, but like, I think you always think that like there's always something better than yours. But in general, we were all pretty confident with our acting, and it was a really fun audition and we all got along so well. So after the auditions, we go in and we talk to 2 of the 4 juries, and they say what they liked, what they didn't like, improvements, so and so, which is really nice because compared to other acting schools that I've been to in Australia, they do not do that. And I walk in and the first thing they say to me is like, we did not like your puppet. If you've put so much time and effort into a puppet, that hurts a little bit. But I was like, okay, cool. That's a bit sad, but like, what didn't you like about it? And they're like, she's cold, she's stern. Yeah. And I was like, okay, like, how could I improve that? And they're like, oh, you just have to start all over. Okay. This came from the same lady who did not want me to be there in the audition. She was the one who said, look, she's late, she shouldn't have your time. Anyway, I get on the bus, 13 hours later, I'm back in Paris. Yeah, today came Monday, came the email, I called Mum, and I didn't get in. Couldn't really imagine them wanting me for that. But talking with my parents, I now go back to Australia. I will now study in Australia for the time being. Like, not getting in, do you know what, like, part of me was like, oh no, I'm not going to tell people like that I even auditioned. But I think like you can't always get yes in your life. And I don't know, I learned so much from this trip. Everything from how to get attention in public, have a mental breakdown, no, but like everything from organization to dealing with the worst scenario possible or planning for the worst scenario possible, and also learning how much support I still need from my parents, and that I'm not as independent as I think I am, and that friendship is so important. Like, my friends here, they were also supportive of it, and I hyped them all up as well, and that's why I was like a bit like, yeah, I have to tell them all now that I didn't get in. But no, I didn't want to become a puppeteer before I auditioned, and even though, having said that, the school, still a dream, that I would love to go there, and that the people there were so incredibly nice. And puppeteering, sure, you imagine sock puppets and things like that. It's not like that at all. Like, it's incredible what some people thought of, but the way it went, I definitely learned a lot, and maybe it just wasn't meant to be, and I'm not upset either. Like, I'm so happy to go home, and I'm happy here. So that's my puppetry journey. I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe don't look for me as an example if you want to get into the school, but if you want to have a laugh, I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, so press like and subscribe if you want to see any more videos like this, and yeah, tschüss.